Welcome to the Wormhole, episode number 13, featuring Cindy Pineda, and she's here to talk about what's going on in Nicaragua and the problems they had over the last year. We also talk about traveling and experiences. We talk about Coachella, is it worth it going weekend 1 or weekend 2, and just a variety of different topics. So hopefully you guys enjoy this episode. Give this video a like, subscribe if you haven't already, and if you're listening on the iTunes podcast or Spotify, make sure you give us a 5-star rating and leave a review. It will help us out a lot.
At my life, I want to find the things. Wake up in the morning, saw my face, I'm in the magazine. Word.
Yeah, but I honestly didn't even know much about it until you started posting yours.
Yeah.
And I was like, that seems cool actually, but it's just you're so good at them, and it makes me almost nervous.
No, but I'm barely starting. Like, this is barely the 13th episode, so I'm still learning. I'm still trying to get better quality, and conversations with people it depends. Like, you just have to adapt to whoever
Who you're talking to.
You should definitely start one. Like, I know you and Gabby were talking about starting your own like channel or your podcast or something, right?
Yeah, and I was actually thinking about it exactly a couple months ago in January, but I wanted to just do it, and I was like having a rough time 2 months ago, and I think that's why it was impulsive, and it wasn't coming out of like a good place. It was coming out of a distraction, and so I was like, let me just hold off. I don't want to do it if I don't feel good.
Yeah, well,
it's almost like pretentious.
No,
at that point.
But you never. It's not about being pretentious. You just have to start because you're never gonna be ready. The one thing I've learned so far, like, I've made a bunch of content. You're never ready. You never have the best equipment. You never have the best. It's never going to be the best quality, and you learn as you go. So you could even start with your phone, since we live in the phone era now. So the phone could do everything. Yeah. When I started my YouTube channel, we would do videos with the phone. So my friend was recording. Do you know Alex Armenta?
Yeah.
Okay, well, he was recording me in Hamilton. We were sitting on his couch, and he recorded without a tripod. We were just recording with the phone, and the quality sucked. The lighting, we didn't have any lighting. It was just, but we got the job done. You just have to start at one point, and then...
Yeah, I was going to say, I think I saw that one. If it's the one I'm thinking about, and it was entertaining as hell, like...
It's probably like a book review. We started doing book reviews when we first started. I mean, my channel's been everywhere, but... The whole point is just try and error. You just start this, and a podcast would be cool. Like, you could talk to people. You know a lot of people in the valley, right? And then a good backstory with your situation with your home country and all that. What's really going on in Nicaragua? Because I really don't know, and if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't even see any coverage of it. Like, you don't see that on the news. You don't see nobody talking about it. Could you explain a little bit more?
Yeah, thanks for asking. I guess you're right. It wasn't on the news as much, but it was on more than I thought it would ever be, but I think it was such a big deal that they had no other choice but to be like, hey, this is happening. Basically what happened, I had just gotten home. I came back April 11th, and everything broke out April 18th. What was that Daniel Ortega, the current president, dictator, whatever you want to call that asshole, put out a new law that, in long story short, you were paying more taxes, so taxes increased and your benefits in the long run decreased. So it was like an extra 5% taken out of your pension eventually. And it's like, well, as you get older, you really don't get much of an income. I mean, even when you're young, you don't get much of an income. You have to be very lucky out there. You have to be extremely prepared.
Yeah.
Bilingual, you know what I'm saying?
University and all that. Yeah.
Exactly. And even then, they don't really always get jobs right away. I mean, it's kind of the same here, just in a third world country.
Yeah.
Basically, it was just very unfair. People were like, you don't get much as it is, and you're still trying to take away more, but why? Where is this money going to?
Yeah, well, what was the purpose of him doing that? Did he have a plan, or he just did it?
I don't think he had a plan, and that's the reason that everyone was outraged when he stayed in presidency, because he did it on his own account.
Yeah, I saw a bunch of videos, like, because I went on those hashtags, or I started looking it up, and there was a lot of, like, people, like, violent protests, and some videos of saying people that they're shooting them behind walls. It was pretty heartbreaking. So you said that's still going on today?
Not nearly as much, and that's what happened, is that the protests broke out, so people were, again, outraged, and they were like, well, what the hell, like, enough is enough, and this was the final straw. So the people that protested were anti-government, and they were going out with the picket signs, this and that. So pro-government was like, what the hell, you pussies? Like, stay back, just listen to him.
Even the same people. Were they protesting against, when all the violence was happening, it was against the military, right? Or was it against the same people supporting the...
Exactly. So if I could, like, put it any two ways, it was just anti-government and pro-government. So the police and the people that were armed were pro-government, and they were just like, you need to not protest and just listen to what he has to say, and
accept the law or whatever. Yeah.
And people were like, but we're not armed, but we're just out here voicing our rights, our opinions. Yeah, what's the problem? So, well, screw you, you know, because we don't care that you have an opinion. Our opinion matters more, so I'm going to shoot you.
Damn, that's crazy. But so they initiated the violence then, the pro-government.
Exactly, and that's why it became even more of an outrage. The first person attacked was that same night, and the first person dead was the next night, April 19th. So if you like look up April 19th, 2018, you'll find things and
articles and coverage about the events. That's pretty intense. And then from there, it escalated more nationwide, or did it start like at a certain, like the capital?
It did start in the capital more than anywhere. It was definitely more so in the major cities, which are Managua, Esteli, Matagalpa, León, Granada, and then it did, go on to the more coastal areas, but that like took a little longer. And I guess it wasn't as big as it was in the other cities.
The major cities. It's usually like that. Everything escalates more when you're part of a major city, just because you deal with all that stuff. And has there been any progress? What's kind of like an update? Since that started almost a year ago already. It's almost April. So what's happening right now?
Well, in 5 days, what happened was that the reform was canceled. Like, Daniel Ortega lo canceló, and then so no more pension this, and,
So he felt the pressure. Was it like international pressure too from...
More than likely. Will he admit that? Maybe not, but more than likely it was that, and also just the fact that people were literally dying. And so...
Under his watch, and so that's...
Exactly.
Yeah.
But he wouldn't admit that it was under his watch. There was people that would, like, you know how people deny the Holocaust?
Yeah.
There was people that were denying that, and they were like, oh, it's just makeup. His eye didn't get gouged out, and it's like...
That's crazy. But it's like, I mean, I get the Holocaust. Like, I don't want to talk about denying the Holocaust because that's a very taboo subject, but at least now you have the technology to look back and see people posting about it, because there was a bunch of people posting like their first-hand account, people posting videos and pictures. You can't deny facts when you have the proof in their eyes, that's messed up.
I agree. And people were just denying it, and I really don't understand why.
How does the presidency work in Nicaragua? What are the terms, or how does that work? Because I know we're here every 4 years, and Mexico's every 6 years. Do you guys have it's a democracy too, right?
We do have terms, and I want to say it's every 5. Don't quote me though.
Yeah.
All I know is that he wasn't supposed to run for as long as he did. And again, just took it into his own account and was like, I'm going to just run again, and that's why he's considered a dictator.
Oh, that's what I was going to ask you, because you told me he was a dictator. So has he been in power for how many years? Or do you know?
I think 2013 was the last time that he was actually voted for.
Yeah, and he hasn't left.
But he was president before that too, and there was someone in between. So it's like, he just brings himself back and no one really votes for him. And I don't understand. I will be honest. I don't know how that works.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's just where money comes into play.
Even here, there's a lot of corruption. You saw what happened with Hillary, that like the DNC took out Bernie Sanders. They didn't want him to win. Has things gotten better since he took out the deal, or are the people still just upset with the government right now?
If anything, I think that him, taking that law back almost made things worse, because people were like, yes, this is what we accomplished in 5 days. Which is something to be proud of. But at the same time, look what we had to go through to cancel a simple law that almost no one was happy about. People shouldn't have died. There shouldn't have been fires. There shouldn't have, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Been buildings being torn down.
Was the death total pretty high, or
by the 5th day, I want to say it was at least 20 people.
Damn.
So in 5 days, I feel just like that's a lot for protests.
Yeah,
People protest here, and they don't always get that bad. No,
well, there's hardly violence here. There's some violence here, but most of the time, at least here in the United States, it's more civil. They put out barriers, and you're not allowed to cross certain things. But especially in third world countries, and have these people in power that feel like they could do anything. They don't take full responsibility, and they don't.
It's my way or the highway.
Yeah, that's the dictatorship at the end of the day. That's what sucks. Have you gone back to Nicaragua since?
Not yet.
Since that has happened, or no?
No, but not because I don't want to go. Some people have asked, well, isn't it dangerous? I don't care. I really don't care. The only thing that would hold me back from going is it almost doesn't feel right to, even when I got back and I would see people on the streets marching and stuff, I was like, so what? I went out there for 7 weeks. I had my fun and I'm back and now people are dying. I felt guilty. And everyone was like, you're so lucky. Like, you avoided all that. And I was like, I didn't want to avoid all that. Had I known, I would have stayed. Had I known, I would have been a part of the protest.
Do you have family members that protested and stuff?
Mm-hmm. Tons of them. And, the adults, it was mostly my younger family members, all my cousins. And all my tias and tios were like, you guys need to be careful or just keep your mouth shut. And which surprised me because they're so anti-him, Daniel. But it's just, they only said don't do it because they knew how bad things were. And, in total, over 500 people died from protests.
Yeah.
After a couple months. And, I mean, I get it. You don't want your child to be one of those 500.
Yeah, exactly. So,
but my cousins didn't care. And they just went out and they did it anyway. And
none of them got hurt, though, right?
No. But it's not that far. And it sucks because it's such a beautiful country. It's such a good place to go vacation. And now when people ask, like, oh, is it safe? Before I could be like, absolutely. Don't be an ass and flash your gold watch at 2 a.m. and you're fine. Other than that, though, like, it's safe. And now I do have to be like, well, actually.
Damn, that's crazy.
Yeah.
And did you live out there any time or did you just always visiting with your family?
I would always visit in the summers and then I moved out there when I was 18 and I was only there for a year. So I came back at the end of 2014. But just not for any reason in particular. I was planning my whole life out there. I was not expecting to come back besides to visit. My mom went out there to visit. And she just said, she's like, do you want to go back? And I was like, I don't know, actually.
So you wanted to live out there? There was just settle there for a while?
I guess so. It just
a whole, like, less pressure than here. Like, it's always about bills. It's always about this. And I feel like, because in Mexico, I don't know, it might be different there, but it always feels like it's less stressful just to be living there. Just we take it for granted because, of course, right here we have, like, running water. We have gas. We have... everything that works, hot water, like 24/7, we take that for granted because I know, at least where I'm from Mexico, we don't have that. All of that, it's kind of like a payoff because then you don't have all that stuff, the privilege, but you enjoy kind of life more. Like there's all these like parties and festivities, and it just feels a lot more like a community. Here, you don't even see your neighbors. Like here, I live in a small area, so I kind of see them a little bit. But like when I live at my mom's house, I don't even know who lives next door. I don't even know who lives across the street. It's just everyone's in their own little world, and you don't get that community feel that you get in other countries. No,
not nearly as much. In those countries, you go and you walk into the grocery store and someone's there, and you're just like, oh, buenas tardes, you know what I mean? And everyone says good afternoon to you too. You do that here, and people look at you like, did she just say good afternoon to me?
Even like the local shops, they kind of know your family. They know like your abuelos, and they know what they like to order. Sometimes like it's pretty cool. Just I guess you have towns here in the United States that still do that, like the smaller towns and probably like in the mid-south and shit, Midwest. Those probably Utah and
I know. I forget that people live there in the first place, and then when I do think that people live there, that's how
like,
I
who lives in Wyoming? North Dakota,
especially the Dakotas. I don't think people live there. That's a myth.
The population there has to be like 30 people, like
at most.
You get both perspectives because you grew up here and then you moved there. You live there for a little bit. That's pretty cool that you have both perspectives. Like for me, I lived in Mexico till I was 9, and then I moved here. So I kind of was raised there. I actually been living here a lot longer than over there now. But I get both perspectives of what life is like in different places. And even when I was born to age like 5, I lived in a small town. And then from age 5 to 9, I lived in a border town, Nogales, the Sonora border. I lived there on the Mexico side. And then from there, we moved here. So I got the city Mexico life, and I got the town life. I don't know, do you guys have those big old black things that they get the water?
I'm thinking of the tanques that we have. The tanques, yeah.
Tanques of water, yeah, we have those over there too. So you just... whenever it rains or whatever, or whenever it's water, you have to freaking store as much as you can.
And you grab a bucket and you shower with that. You grab an even smaller panito, you shower with that.
Yeah, like, and then
flush the toilet with it.
Exactly, and you have to heat up the water if you want to take a hot shower because it's not hot, It's like...
No, and I'm grateful that I, lived through that. And it never bothered me. Even when I moved there, having lived, most of my life here in the U.S., it didn't bother me because when I was little, I would go over there. So I always experienced it. It was just second nature. It was my home.
Yeah.
Sometimes pretty annoying, not gonna lie, but you know, when you need
A movie
electricity.
Yeah.
But no big deal. And I think, never mind, I was going to say anyone could adapt, but I do think it's easy to. You just get used to it and get over it.
It takes you maybe, especially if you're familiar with it, then it's probably going to be faster. But if you go in like cold turkey, if you lived here your whole life, it's going to take you maybe not 6 months, maybe like a month or two, maybe a couple of weeks just to start getting used to that lifestyle because it is a little different. And I kind of like it though. Sometimes it's like, man, like just society in general here is just like, oh man, too much going on. Or maybe we could just move to North Dakota
and get the feel there. It's like the step in between. You go to those states, live a shitty life, and then live an even shittier life. Just kidding.
I mean, if you're from North Dakota, if you're from North Dakota,
you're probably not watching this. Just kidding.
You probably don't have electricity to watch these videos anyway. But what we do here in the Valley is not really a big city, I guess. I kind of like that we're close to like all kinds of major cities like San Diego and LA. We're close to Mexico border. We have 3.5 hours to Arizona, 4 hours to Vegas. So we're pretty centered here, but it also feels like a small community as well. I guess patches, because then you have like the Coachella Indio. It's more like Latino based and a lot of like Mexicans and stuff. Then you have like Palm Desert and whatever they're doing.
Indian Wells and whatever they're doing. Tennis.
Yeah, and then you have Palm Springs. It's like a whole like cultural vibe, I guess. A lot of artsy people. And, and it's pretty cool. We have like different sections here, but we're all part of the Coachella Valley, which, I don't know, 5-10 years on the road, we might be like a major city.
If the world doesn't explode. But...
And we're still alive 5-10 years.
Yeah, exactly. I'm proud. I'm happy because I love the Coachella Valley. So to think that we're like gaining that popularity in general and people like it here so much, because I love it here. So I like hearing that other people like it here too.
I love the Valley. That's why I kind of... Yeah, it's so annoying when people complain about... I get we are 3 or 4 months of the year super hot. And it is getting a little bit annoying, but it's winter. We don't have snowstorms. We don't have to deal with like crazy rains except like last week or whatever, 2 weeks ago. But which was
wild.
Out of nowhere, It's because they're doing all the chemtrails and changing our weather with like freaking nanotechnology, but I don't want to talk about that right now.
I'm like, wait, what? Hold on, maybe you do.
There's a bunch of theories of like chemtrails, and they're dropping like particles in the clouds to alter weather, so create drought, make it rain, playing God basically. So if you are able to impact a community or a certain country you're trying to invade, it's a theory of course, but that's like if you control the weather, you basically could do anything to anybody. And you can't and then you can like say, oh, it's not like a missile that you blew up, it's just the weather, which you can't really say like, oh, the US government interfered and stuff. So basically it's their subtle way of controlling things, a new way to control things, like in plain sight basically. And I don't know if you ever I don't know if you've ever seen those trails like left by the jets, like this white. So some people are saying that's what they're spreading. Like that's not actually just from the fuel, but it's from them dropping some type of like chemicals into the air and shit. I don't know. We're probably doomed, but it's just
we're definitely pretty doomed. I'd say so.
No,
unfortunately, not to be negative.
Going back to the Coachella Valley, like So one of the reasons I started this podcast was because when I used to make book reviews and movie reviews and stuff like that, there was never anybody making content here in the Valley, or not as many people. So I decided to start this podcast to talk to people from the Valley, whether they're artists or they're just want to have a conversation, interesting people, other creators, photographers. That was my main goal, just to like kind of put or do something for the Valley. Since no one else is doing it, I decided to just take a step forward and do it myself. So, which is really cool, and I'm sure you've inspired a lot of people, you know. Yeah, so I mean, I was inspired. So going back to just starting, if you're really thinking about it, I say you just start even with your phone. You just record a conversation with your phone. It could just be audio. If you don't want to be doing video form or doing both, is actually better. But you could start in one thing, you know. You could start building an audience that just listens, and then from there, the more practice, you could get better equipment and stuff like that. Yeah, it's just about starting. But the Valley, photography wise, I run this page, Best of Indio. at first I was just sharing other people's photos from the valley. It was just that, just sharing people's photos from the valley, reposting them, giving them credit, of course. And then, so I got this new camera and I started taking like more photos. And I was like, oh, I'm gonna start posting my own photos because I never really wanted to post my photos. And my friend's like, oh, you should start a photography page because your photos are pretty good. I realized like, fuck it, I'm just gonna start taking photos. And I was just doing like landscape stuff. So I love taking photos of like palm trees and the mountains and just kind of like show like the valley and stuff. And
I'm excited to show my dad those when I go back. He'll love them.
And you like to do that too. I see on your story you're always posting like palm trees and that you love the sun or something.
I do love the sun. But that doesn't come out of, like, I appreciate yours because yours is a passion. Mine is just like, oh, it looks pretty. Snap a photo.
I guess. Well, it's still a passion project, I guess. Just taking pictures of the valley. And then I'm also doing photo shoots for people too, like maternity photos and weddings and all that stuff. So I just decided to turn that hobby and then do something on the side where I could hustle maybe once a weekend if I get hired or whatever.
Yeah, totally. Absolutely. People are always getting married. People are always having babies. So.
Yeah. So, well, my friend inspired me to get started, which is, Gato.
I was about to say, was it Gato?
Yeah, it was Gato.
Thought so.
Yeah, he inspired me to just start. I was like, you know what?
That's cool.
I'm just going to start. And I'm still learning about posing and the lighting. And I don't have all the equipment again, like for photography. Like, I have the camera and then I got to buy like the slide and buy this lens, which is it's pretty pricey. Like once you,
I bet.
So I'm still holding on to buy those things, but yeah, like at least I'm just starting again.
That's cool.
Just starting.
No, good for you for actually like taking initiative. And it's funny because you don't realize how much goes into it. Yeah. It looks so simple. You just look at the picture and it's nice and you appreciate it. And the story, you don't realize like how much really goes into it.
Yeah, you have to think about the lighting. You have to think about the posing. Like when he let me borrow this book, it's called Picture Perfect Posing, and it talks about like how to use your hands and what not to do with your hands and arch your back and like a bunch of little techniques that I didn't even think about. But when you look at a photo, the subject is doing the things that they talk about in the book, then you realize how amazing that book, like you realize the art. Yeah, like because most of the time we don't know how to pose. Like, I don't know, maybe you do, but when we take photos, like, I never know what to do with my hands. I never know what to do. I'm like, oh, shit. I'm just like, having my face.
It's sweat.
So, yeah.
Get nervous.
So it's pretty cool. Like, the whole book breaks it down. So I'm still learning, but.
That's cool. Would you, like, partner up? How would that work if you ever did? Or if you've talked about it?
So we've been doing this, I helped them edit this video for a guy who was doing a scholarship video for Xavier. Cool. And his daughter wanted to do a video of her. It was just directly talking to the camera and then adding a bunch of photos since she was a little girl, all the volunteering events that she did. And it was pretty cool. Like, I got to edit the whole thing. And that was the first project we kind of worked on together. And then from now on, we're still kind of talking about it, but I might help him, like, do videography for his events, like quinceañeras and weddings and stuff. That's pretty cool because I like to make videos and I like to edit. For me, editing is my favorite thing, but it's just a step of getting out of my comfort zone. And to be honest, like on the weekends, I wasn't really doing much, and this gives me something to do on the weekends, and it's always a new experience because it's always new people.
No, definitely. No, and it's cool. Your editing skills are good, especially for someone, how you say you're just starting.
Yeah.
And I never realized how important editing was until... There's this girl I follow on Instagram, and she has over 1 million followers. She's beautiful, and I think that's why she started getting followers in the first place. So she tried out a YouTube channel, and no offense to her, but just video is not capturing. Yeah. And I've thought to myself, like, damn, if she wasn't so pretty, I wouldn't watch her. I mean, even her being as pretty as she is, I have to like close out after a couple boring, Yeah. And part of it is the rambling. Part of it is the lack of editing. There's just nothing capturing enough to hold your attention. It'll catch your attention, but it doesn't hold it, My friend Sophia used to edit videos just for fun, and she actually would do a really good job.
Did she start a channel or something? Or?
No, not at all. It was literally just for fun. We were kids. We were like 12, 13, 14, and just every now and then she would just have a new video, or it was like a slideshow and she'd add music. Yeah. But the way that like it just went so perfectly to the beat. But at the time, I didn't think anything until now I look back and I'm like, damn, girl, you had skills.
For me, when I started making videos was, 2006, 2007.
Oh, shit, yeah.
And my first YouTube upload was in 2007. But I never thought, like, it could be like, you could turn that into a career or do something with it. I was just doing it for fun. And I have a bunch of videos of like me and my friends doing dumb things. Like they're terrible quality and they're just dumb.
It's
But
2006.
they're on YouTube. I have them private, so you can't even look them up. So don't start looking for those. So I have them on private, and I like every time I get together with some of my friends, I just put them on so we could laugh at each other, like what we were doing 10, 15, 12 years ago already.
Damn.
That's scary.
I know, seriously. I was thinking 2006 a few years ago. Never mind.
Yeah, like when I was thinking earlier this week, it was, I don't know what I was looking at, but it said 2013, and I was like, oh, that just happened, but it's 6 years ago already. I was like, oh my God, that's crazy.
That's scary. Because I think 2013, it just happened.
It just happened, right? Yeah, it's 6 years ago. Time's flying. And every year seems to get faster.
It does. And I heard that there was like a science behind it because when we were, a theory, when we were really little, we didn't have much to compare time to. It just seemed to be going slower because there weren't that many events going on or many experiences. And now we've experienced, a bunch of shit. So good things, bad things. So it just seems to be going faster the more we experience. And that made sense to me.
You're busy with work or hanging out with people.
Yeah. On top of that, you're constantly doing something. Your mind's more occupied. When we were kids, there were less worries. So
yeah, we're just playing outside with rocks and stuff. Well, I mean, today's
literally rocks.
Marbles, if you consider marbles rocks. But kids today, I don't know, like everybody's on their freaking tablets. And how do you feel about that? Like kids just being on their phones all day.
Well, the thing
like
is,
little kids.
I don't like that, but I feel like a hypocrite because I love phones and I do really like technology. I just don't agree with, let's just keep them entertained and give them this big ass tablet. And, I've seen little kids that can work a tablet better than I can. And I'm like, that means he's spent too much time on it. Like,
yeah,
it's good for them to know, it's good for them to learn, but where's the interaction? It just seems like there's none at that point.
There's two things when it comes to little kids and tablets. Like, I don't agree that they should be on there 24/7. I have a little nephew, like he's on that shit all day on like phones and watching YouTube videos. But there's some stuff that they do learn. Like there's games where they have to like add up, like use certain math in order to move up to another level and like reading and stuff. But I still don't think it's a good idea to have them there. However, in the future, they're going to be 10, 15 years on the road. Imagine the technology that's going to be around. And if we deny the kids getting used to the technology of tablets and phones now, we're just kind of hurting them in the long term. Although, I don't know how growing up on the screen all day, how's that going to affect them when they grow up 10, 15 years in the road? So it's like, there's pros and cons.
Definitely.
So not be afraid of technology, but also just make sure they're out getting exercise and running around and having like more interactions with actual kids too.
Well, just like anything else, everything in moderation.
Yeah, moderation's big. Pretty much addicted to my cell phone. Like I'm on that shit 24/7, and I try not to. It's just like, man,
it's so easy.
This and this app, and then you go on this app. What I've been trying to do is turn off my notifications. I turn them all off. The only thing I get are DMs. I think ads on Twitter, but like I don't have retweets or likes on either social media. I don't use Facebook anymore, but I just try to like get rid of all notifications just because it's just too much like to your mental.
That's actually smart because you're right. Every time something lights up, like immediately, I don't know about you, but my eyes will go to my phone.
Yeah.
And if it keeps doing it, now I'm curious. Now I want to open it. I want to go see what it is. And that leads to me clicking on something else and scrolling through something else.
Yeah, you go down the rabbit hole real quick.
Yep, easily.
So turning off notifications, it kind of helps me. I don't know, maybe. Do you have our notifications on?
I think I do. I'm pretty sure I do. Yeah. So I'm going to try that out.
No, yeah, just keep DMs just in case someone's trying to reach you. That's why I keep them. And then on Twitter for ads because they're kind of
it's still someone reaching, yeah.
But a retweet, you don't really need to get a notification for that, or they like your tweet. You don't need a notification for that. That's just
it's not urgent.
Yeah, it's not urgent. Yeah, and then the only thing I've been trying to cut off is in the mornings. Like that's the first thing I do is check my phone. Like, oh, do I have anything for the morning and stuff? I've been trying to like wake up, get ready for the day, and then check my phone. At least give yourself 20, 30 minutes to
be a human.
Yeah, wake up and not freaking be attached to your phone and stuff. So that's one of the goals I have for 2019 was to use my phone a lot less. It really hasn't been paying off,
much
to be honest.
No. It's okay, but if you're making these little goals, like they'll add up. You know?
I've been writing. Do you write down your goals? Do you have any goals? Do you have any goals?
I have goals. I just don't write them down, and I feel like I should. People say it's so effective when you do write them down, and before I used to think it was so cliche, and now I don't think it's cliche anymore. I just
No,
haven't.
I was the same way. Like, I was like, I don't need to write it down, but like over the last,
you feel it helps?
Yeah, like 6 months, I've been more consistently like writing monthly goals. Sometimes I forget to do weekly goals. Maybe that should be one of my goals, but to write more goals. But yeah, just like writing goals, it helps you accomplish a lot more, and it keeps you on track. Like, it does sound super cliche. I hate saying it, but it does help. Like, it sometimes, for me, 2019, that's one of my major goals, was to stop using my phone, like save a little more money, because we could all use less spending, Cool, I got paid, let me go buy the Starbucks, and let me go buy this. And
yeah, I budget a lot, and I feel like today I splurged, but I did it purposely because I feel like, well, I've been, saving a lot lately. And that's one thing that I like about I have Bank of America and their app. It shows you how much you're spending versus how much you're making.
Oh, yeah.
Which is motivating. But I'm also trying to find, it's tough because I want to find that, balance between be responsible and that you have to do this, and that. But also, like, live in the moment. You could die tomorrow, And I do hate to think of it that way because that's so negative. But at the same time, like,
no, but
we really don't know.
You don't really know when you're gonna die, but you also have to think about your future. Like,
absolutely.
I don't know.
And that's why
I used to. Yeah, it is a balance, but I used to have that mentality, like, oh, I'm just gonna have fun now. Like, I just spend my money recklessly, but most likely you're not gonna die tomorrow.
That's true.
Thing. So you have to think about your future 5-10 years on the road, like what kind of choices you're making now that are gonna affect your future. So that's just one thing I've been doing.
And I do think it's better to be responsible, but I also don't think it's a good thing to be too much of a stickler. And I think that for years I was.
Yeah.
I was just so afraid to spend money because almost too responsible, but also almost too ignorant. I'd be like, well, what if, like, I have to move to Jamaica, And Jamaica was literally the spot that I thought of. I was like, well, what if I have to go? I have to save for that, What are the odds?
So you do take a lot of trips, or you just went on a trip to Guadalajara, right?
In 2018, that was my goal, was to not be such a stickler and live a little. And that's what I did. And I think that I did a good job at balancing making money and spending it on experiences that, I can't, like, hold them, but I can remember them and share them.
That's the way we should spend our money, is in experiences. And even just experiences going out. Like, you don't have to spend money when you go out. You just go out and explore mountains and national parks and stuff like that we don't really do because we want to buy the new iPhone, or we want to buy the new whatever.
Yeah.
And experiences are so cool. How was your experience going to Mexico?
I loved it. I'll go back. I will absolutely go back. How far is what'd you say, Nogales?
No. Well, I'm from Morelia, close to Morelia. It's about like 3 hours from Guadalajara.
Oh, you're close.
Michoacan. It's the state next door.
That's where my friend's from. If we would have had one more day there, we were going to go to Michoacan. The Maria, who I went with.
Yeah.
So, bummer that we couldn't go, so maybe next time. But I absolutely plan on going back. Everybody was so welcoming. Everyone was so friendly, helpful. You know what I mean? Like,
so
I don't
exactly
know how
do you go?
So we went to Guadalajara, I guess just the center.
Yeah.
From there, we went to somewhere called Tlaquepaque. And then Lago Chapala. We went to Tequila. I think after Chapala, we went to this like little city called Ajijic, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with this. I'll take your word for it.
They were so little, so I could be wrong too. But
the people there?
Huh?
The people there or the town?
Oh, well, I guess the people too. I fit right in. But the town. I was just going by what my GPS would say. Like, I would open my weather app and it would say this. And I was like, oh, okay, that's where I'm at, Yeah. Because I'm not familiar. But I loved it. It was just colonial. Yeah. You know what I mean? So physically, it was beautiful. It was warm. The people were warm. So that's somewhere I'd recommend.
So you went through, like, in Tequila, how they make the tequila and the whole process. Do you take, like, a tour or stuff? Or? Yeah,
we took a tour. It was called Hotel Matices, I think. And it's a hotel, like, un hospedaje, and there's, like, these barrel-shaped rooms. Super cute. We didn't do that. We didn't stay there. But you can. You have the option to. And we did. Cool. Yeah, if they tell you about the deals, you know what I mean? Like, you get to stay here, and then on top of that, you get blah, 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 blah. And price-wise, it was really good for someone who's a tourist, It was super informative. wherever you walked, it was just gorgeous. And you got to try things. You know, what more could I ask? You know,
That's so
and it
cool.
was crazy. I had never seen it in those huge barrels and the fermentation process. And he had us get close and smell it. That shit cleared your sinuses quick. I had to like check if I still had nose hairs because I thought they just like burned.
Yeah.
Super cool, and everything tasted so good.
Just fresh off the places.
Exactly.
Were you allowed to? You weren't allowed to bring any bottles or nothing from there.
Well, I'm sure I was, but I just wasn't sure, like totally aware. And Maria did tell me, she's like, well, you know, in case of anything, just buy it at the airport. And that just, yeah, in one ear and out the other. Because in Nicaragua, if I fly through like this, or I guess last time, first I flew through El Salvador and then through Guatemala.
Mm-hmm.
Central America will take that away. If I were to fly to Miami and then from Miami back to California, it's fine. But if I go through any other Central American country, they take it away. Why? I'm not sure.
I think you're allowed to bring it over here, but I don't think you're allowed to take it into those countries. Something like that. So I think if you're coming from Mexico to here, I'm pretty sure they allow you to take, I think, up to 2 bottles. I'm not 100% sure, but at least that's how it is when like people go to Mexicali and bring bottles and stuff, because they do that all the time.
See, that's what I'm going to have to do next time because I really wanted some. And again, it just like...
You didn't think about it, but that's pretty cool that you take more experiences. Do you have any more trips planned out for the rest of the year?
I think I'm going back to New Mexico next month.
New Mexico? You're gonna visit a bunch of desert. Or
I'm gonna go see some cacti.
the painted canyons of like the natives, or you're gonna do it?
I have a friend that lives there, so that's not like, oh my god, I'm
it's
dying to go to New Mexico. I guess so, exactly. It's not like spontaneous.
I drove through New Mexico last year.
I remember that.
We drove from Florida to here. It was
I can't believe
50
you guys
hours.
did that.
It was crazy. It was such a fun experience. Because my brother bought a van in Florida from his friend. So we flew from LAX to Tampa, and he had a jaripeo, which is like a rodeo, Mexican rodeo. His friends, they own like the bulls and stuff for riding. So we went for the excuse of the van, but we also went to party a little bit. So we flew in there, and then we had to drive back almost 50 hours just because we had to also rest and like sleep. We're not trying to do it straight, but it was, man,
an experience. And a half.
Why
did I think you were with Billy?
When I went to Florida?
Maybe I was thinking Florida. Sorry, Billy.
Billy Dale.
I'm like Tampa, Fort Lauderdale, Billy. I thought that's who you went with.
No, I didn't go with Billy. It was with my brother. You met my brother one time. New Mexico was just like all desert, just freaking boom. Oh shit.
Poor baby.
Sorry, Suki. Yeah, we just went through all desert, and there was a lot of like painted, like I guess, you know, you've seen like the Grand Canyon, how they have those cliffs and stuff. They had a lot of that like on the road and stuff. And then they had like Indian rest stops where there was like Native Americans, like descendants selling like merchandise, and you could take pictures by certain like rock structures and stuff. We couldn't really explore as much in the drive back because it was going to be May 10th, which is Mother's Day. And if we would have stopped more, we weren't going to make it on time. And he had his wife here and then my mom. So we couldn't miss that day. So we had to just kind of almost drive straight back. It was pretty cool though. It was a good experience. My favorite state was probably, we went through Oklahoma because we decided, because it was going to be either go through Texas, which would have been, he said it was all desert because he's done it before. Literally all desert. And we went a little bit up.
Yeah, you literally like...
just up to Oklahoma, and it was so cool. Like,
really?
We were driving for like a couple hours through this like...
tornado?
No.
Why did you guys...
And then, that's in Kansas. No, no, but we drove on this freeway on both sides. There's nothing but forest. It was literally forest on both sides for like hours. It was crazy.
Like what you see in the movies, like the one road and then like a bunch of trees.
Yeah, but it was a freeway. It wasn't that scary.
Oh.
No, it was a freeway. It was like...
okay.
It was, I don't know how many lanes, to be honest. Maybe 2 or 3 lanes on each side. And it was I guess it's a private freeway, so we had to pay every certain miles, like through the little gate. It was like $1 or whatever, but it was just like nothing but forest. As far as that I could see, it was cool.
That is cool.
That was my first spot. And then like when you mentioned New Mexico, I don't know, I just went rambling on the story, but when you mentioned New Mexico, all I think is like desert and Breaking Bad.
Well, when both of my friends that moved out there, that's what they said too. You know, when they drove out there, it was just flat.
Yeah.
So pretty. They were like, it's a nice drive. It's calming. It's just, you know, not what you see here, perhaps, or I'm sure like driving through Florida, there was a little more.
Yeah.
And I heard the same thing with Texas. It's just flat, flat, flat. You don't see anything for miles besides the road. So.
Yeah, we drove Texas. It was only a little bit because, it was, I can't remember every state, but it was Florida, and then we drove through Alabama and through Louisiana, but it was like 30 minutes, almost nothing. It was because the state, just like the border of the state on the bottom. So it was just like, we just crossed them really fast, so we didn't go into the deep south. I wouldn't have made it back, but...
Damn, that would have been cool if you did, though.
I kind of want to do an experience there. I know.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's not as bad as they make it out to seem on the news and stuff. I'm pretty sure they're okay.
I wonder. They're okay.
They're okay people. But
Confederate flag or two.
Yeah, just every other car, but it should be fun. So I didn't really get to experience the deep south, but Louisiana we drove through. So it's a 10. Actually, it's the 10 freeway, the one that starts here. It starts in Los Angeles and it ends in Florida.
Oh shit!
So it cuts through Texas, it cuts through New Mexico, Arizona, and then it gets to Florida. So we drove through there to Louisiana, and then there are certain sections where it was a swamp. Like literally, you could see like swamp under the freeway.
Crazy.
It was a little trippy, but it's a pretty cool experience. So you're going to New Mexico?
No, it's fine. That was interesting. I guess so. Going to New Mexico, but like I have a purpose there.
Yeah.
Damn, I was supposed to be in Chicago this weekend. Remember how I told you I was like, oh, I'll be back.
Oh, that's what it was. Yeah.
But I requested the days off at one job and not at the other because at the hotel we're hardly ever scheduled.
So you work two different jobs right now? I just knew about the hotel one, but I didn't know what else do you do.
The Beer Hunter.
Oh, you used to work there?
So I bartend there, and at the hotel I just serve.
Oh, okay, cool. I haven't been to the Beer Hunter in a minute. I know a couple of times we used to go before the start of the football season.
Yeah, I remember that. You guys were going like religiously on Thursdays,
right?
Well,
we made it a thing. We said, since we don't really see each other that often, we're going to make it every week. Aww. We're going to pick a spot, and then we picked the Beer Hunter just because it's different. It's there. And then we went back like 3 or 4 weeks in a row, and then football season started, so... I don't know why we stopped going, actually. I'm going to hit up my friends. So we started going back.
You're like, I miss them, actually.
Yeah, I miss them. I hadn't seen them. Well, I hung out with them on Sunday because we were watching a UFC fight. But besides that, I hadn't seen them in a minute. Just been real busy. You were going to Chicago to visit somebody else or just for...
Just because.
Just because?
Spontaneous. My friend found the tickets. They were really cheap. And I said, yeah, I'm down. And, I mean, so luckily they were so cheap to the point that I was like, I didn't lose that much, you know. But... I lost the experience, but now I'll be able to go back. It's okay. Everything happens for a reason, and I'm sure there was good reason behind me not being able to go.
Yeah, I might go to Chicago in the summer.
They say it's perfect in the summer.
I have cousins who live there.
Cool.
They're coming for Coachella, so they've been asking me every year to go to Lollapalooza, which is like their big festival that they have out there. It's kind of like Coachella, but in Chicago.
Coachella, yeah.
No, it's in the summer.
Oh, okay.
But it's like their Coachella, so it's a big like festival. So these guys, they go every year, and they're coming to Coachella in 5 weeks. So I want to go with them to Lollapalooza in the summer. So I might go to Chicago just to visit.
That's cool. First time?
Yeah, first time. But my cousins, they live there all their lives and stuff. So they were here actually for the New Year. Well, one of them was, and we had a pretty good time.
What's wrong with you?
Goddamn, super. Papa, they're scaring me, Papa.
Aw.
It's because she probably saw something over there.
Oh, no. I'm like, saw what?
I saw something. It's a ghost.
A ghost?
She's been on a couple of my podcasts.
Yeah.
I'm going to do a podcast with her.
Just her?
Just me and her. Interviewing Suki. Suki.
I will watch that one.
I always make up voices for her, and Alex gets mad. She doesn't get mad. She doesn't get mad, but she always like, "Why you make her talk like this?"
Like what?
I don't want to say it.
I'll find out one day.
Yeah, I just make like a little squeaky voice, and then I call myself Papa. So
I noticed.
Well, that's what I do.
I was like, maybe he's quoting an anime.
No, it's just me being weird with Suki.
In the same spot.
You haven't had any more parties?
Not since that one time you guys came over. Goddamn.
That was a fun party. It was pretty packed that day, too.
I'm glad you guys came, and I'm glad you guys had fun. I was so scared because it was, like, I had planned it, and then I was feeling out of it, and then Sophia was like, come on, you know, so it was a last-minute thing, and it wasn't for me. It was, Sophia was moving to New Mexico.
And
Danielle.
They were moving out. Yeah.
They were both leaving, so I'm so glad it happened because good memories, good times.
Yeah, I had some good memories from that party. But yeah, your plans to go to New Mexico and anything else going on this year?
Yes. So I do want to go to Nicaragua. I might go in May. Mostly because April, you know, Coachella is a busy season for us. I plan to work Coachella. And May, it's the start of winter over there. So it's like just a celebration the whole month of winter, rain, growth, you know. So it's a fun time to go. And I have to go see my parents, you know.
Festivities, everything.
Well, not my parents, my dad and my family.
Your dad lives over there?
So he's been calling me like, it's been a year already. Where are you? And I'm like,
when did he move back to Nicaragua?
Either 2011 or 2012.
Oh, so it's been a minute already.
It's been a while, yeah. He went back then, and he hasn't came back. I don't know if he can come back. I think he wants to. When he lived here, that's what he did, was he
go back landscaped. And forth. Oh, okay.
He didn't go back and forth until, I'd say, 2009. That's when he started. But before that, he was here, aside from little trips, you know, go see your family really quick.
Yeah.
He was solely here, and then left 2011 or 2012, one of those years. So he's just over there. Will he ever come back? I'm not sure. I hope he can. I hope he at least has the opportunity to come and take a stroll really quick and then, you know, maybe go back home.
No, well, I mean, he's probably happy over there, just enjoying the whole life over there. Or does he miss living back here?
I know he's happy there, but I know that part of him misses being here too, you know.
Especially with you guys, like he wants to see you guys more. When you go, do you go with your sister too or no?
No, she goes with my mom.
Oh, because she's not old enough.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So... But I mean, you know, my brother, he goes separately. I do want to go with my brother. My brother lives in Cat City.
Oh, do you have a brother? I didn't even know you had a brother. Is he older or younger?
He's older.
Oh, that's cool.
He lives in Cat City. He lives with his girlfriend. And I want to go with him because the last time he went was separate from me. But I think it'd be cool if we went together.
Yeah, well, I mean, if it's going to be around the same time, it makes more sense to go with somebody. You don't want to just travel alone.
I don't mind it at all, but I think that my dad would be happy to like, oh, my kids, you know, like at the same time. Because he has 4 kids out there. I have 4 more siblings over there. So it would be like almost having all of them together. Yeah, little reunion.
That sounds
He'd like that.
So you might go in May, you say?
I might go in May. If I could go to the Dominican Republic at some point this year.
Is that just for any particular reason, or you just want to explore?
I'm in love with the culture. I've always have been. The culture, the people, the music. So that's just like, aside from Miami, that was my place. Yeah.
Yeah, I want to go to Miami. Just because I'm a fan of this radio show from Miami. It's a national show, but they're based in Miami, and they're always Dan Levitard. I don't know if you've heard of him. He's like a sports guy, but he's always having events there for like fans of his radio show and stuff. And I kind of want to go there just for that, and then to explore Miami because it has a lot of culture. And they're like, since their radio station is there, they always talk about like the streets and there's this thing that are happening here, or they talk about like an experience they had because they say it's Vegas and then it's Miami, like the 2 craziest cities.
Yeah.
So I've been to Vegas. I wonder what it's like to just party in Miami. Which is pretty
the other crazy city.
Yeah.
If you and Alex were to go, I think you would both love it. It was just so. Like, again, how I felt in Mexico. You were at home, you know?
Yeah.
Almost no one spoke English, which was wonderful. It was so cool. You know, you went in and everyone just greets you in Spanish and everyone's friendly and loud. And
that's when I went to Tampa, because Tampa's like way up north, so it's not the same as Miami, because Miami has more culture. But in Tampa, like at least in the areas that I didn't really get to explore the city as much, but all the little liquor stores and everything, everybody spoke Spanish or like Cuban Spanish, and it was pretty cool. Like, and
they're friendly too. So
yeah, they're really nice people.
A lot of Cubans. But I want to do little trips, even just in California. When I saw your pictures from Yosemite, oh my god,
that's a nice spot. We went like the week of the fire of Northern California, so there was a lot of like stuff in the air. It wasn't as clear as should have been. And then we went to Oakland, which was really close to the fire, so it was just kind of a bad time. But Yosemite's amazing. Yeah, well, I don't remember exactly how the trip started, but we were gonna go visit Shells, which is Alex's one of her best friends from high school. And she had like a newborn, so we wanted to visit them, but somehow they couldn't go. So she's like, I already have the week off, let's go to Yosemite. So I'm like, yeah, fuck it, let's go to Yosemite. So we drove to Yosemite. It was like a 6-hour drive. And then from there, I realized that I go for the Chargers, the football team. So they were playing in Oakland that Sunday, and we went on Saturday. So we got to go on Saturday to Yosemite. We stayed like at a nearby town. We explored. It was pretty cool. Then we ended up going to Oakland on Sunday. So that was a pretty nice experience because we really haven't traveled as much. Like we go to a lot of concerts. That's like, I guess, our experience. But we don't really travel as much. So that's one of the things I want to do this year. More experiences, just go out and have a little more fun.
Yeah, but I mean, concerts are good too. I feel like you still get to like meet people from all over the place and see artists that you like. Obviously,
I mean, especially Coachella. It's great. You're not going, you're working Coachella then?
I hope so. I worked last year, so I want to work it again this year. And it's the same thing. It's just a huge melting pot.
Yeah,
Koreans, Australians.
You don't want to go to have fun?
I guess I would. It's just that, like, no aguanto. I know myself, I'll be like, I just want to nap. You know what I mean?
No, well, that's what's cool about Coachella, though, because, okay, you could nap, and the whole day takes over 12 hours of music, so you could still take naps in between. Or what we like to do is we go in a little later, because the doors open at 11 or 12, it depends on the day. And I like to go until, like, 3 or 4 or almost 5, because even from 5 to 7, that's still 7 hours of walking and dancing and music. And it's a 3-day festival, so you don't want to go all out on Friday and Saturday. So we go for like 7 or 8 hours every day. And that way we're tired at the end of the day, even if we only go like 8 hours. That's still a lot. But there's times where like, I guess in 2014, I got too drunk. I chugged 2 Four Locos before going in, which was it was ridiculous.
Weren't they like off the shelves at that time, illegal?
I think they were coming back. That's when they first brought them back. That's why I was taking them, because I think in like 2010, 11, when we were like in high school, that's when they like were killing people and shit.
Oh, dang.
And to be honest, I didn't even have one like in high school until after. But anyway, I took 2 Four Locos, and I was just freaking passed out like 30 minutes walking, and like they finally hit me like boom. I was like, damn. So I actually like I took a big nap and still woke up and still had fun. So it's like Coachella, that's what's cool about it. It's so long. It's like a marathon. I like to say it's a marathon, not a sprint. So you just gotta take it slowly and just enjoy everything. And over 150 different artists, so there's a little bit of something for everybody, especially if you like Latin music. This year they're gonna have Bad Bunny, J Balvin, Los Tucans de Tijuana, and I forgot who else. There's a couple other more, but they have like, and they're gonna have K-pop with Blackpink. I don't know if you know Blackpink. And then they have rappers and bands and just EDM artists, Diplo, Dylan Francis. It's just like so much different things to do there. And not even just the music, you also have the art. So they have art structures from all over the world and different, like, I don't know, just foods from all over the world. So it's pretty cool.
That is cool. And the times I've went, it wasn't because I purchased a bracelet and I went all 3 days. It was because I purchased a 1 day. Like, I'll go on the last Sunday, And last year, that's what I did. We went probably for the same time that you're saying, like 7 hours, which was enough, enough for us to get drunk and have fun. And I saw Eminem, that's who I cared about the most, I just don't know if I'd be able to do all 3 days, and like working it is still such an experience because you hear the music and you get to talk to people and you see their fun outfits.
Where did you work, or what were you doing?
The beer gardens.
Oh, really?
So one of them. Don't ask me. It was like, no, I don't even know where.
Yeah.
But
that's pretty cool. No, yeah, it's I mean, I've been going for 9 years in a row already.
Damn. Every year?
Yeah.
You're going this year?
Yeah.
Cool.
So well, my channel, like on my YouTube channel, I make Coachella videos giving people tips and advice on what they need to bring, what to do, stuff like that. So
that's smart.
So that's what's kind of been growing my following, has been making Coachella videos. And since I've been going so long, I was like, I have experience. And the reason I started making those videos was I was looking for tips or like advice. Like sometimes even if I've been to a place, like I like to see what other people have to say, And I looked up tip videos and there was nothing. Like the only thing that was there is tips on makeup, tips on outfits, tips on like glitter and shit. And I was like, that's not what I'm looking for. So I took, I was like, you know what? If no one's making this content and I'm looking for it, that means that other people might be looking for tips and stuff. So I started making those videos, and a lot of people have been like hitting me up and asking me questions, and it feels cool. Like I'm actually helping people out. So I just, every Monday I drop a brand new Coachella video. And so I've been going for 10 years. This is going to be my 10th year. My first year in 2009, I only went on a Friday. And the only reason I went, I was a sophomore in high school, but the Indio Teen Center, it had just opened up across the street from Indio High School. And I used to go there after school when I didn't have football practice because my parents couldn't pick me up till 5. So either I had practice and I didn't get off at 5, or I would go to the Teen Center or the Rec Center and then get picked up at 5. So I was always there. And randomly one day on a Friday, they're like, oh, we're giving out Coachella tickets.
What?
Single day only. And then you pick the date. And I was like, oh, shit. I didn't even know. I knew about Coachella, but I never had gone. And then we got tickets for Friday. So I only went on Friday in 2009. 2010, we snuck in on Sunday with like some Mexican dudes that were picking up cans. They got us in for like $50. And literally as soon as he got us in, he charged some white people like $150. So he charged us like 1/3 of the price. We're homies, I guess. Not homies, but
cousins.
No.
Just me being racist.
Yeah, los primos and shit.
Yeah.
No, but yeah, so the first 2 years I went was just one day. Then 2011, I guess my senior graduation thing, I got a Coachella ticket. That's the first time I went to 3 days. And actually that was the first year they made it mandatory to go 3 days. Because before they used to sell single day passes.
I didn't know.
Yeah, so before 2011, you could just buy Sunday ticket or whatever, but they weren't selling out. Like they were selling out Sunday and maybe Saturday, but Friday was always like never sold out. So the people at Coachella decided to just make it mandatory to buy all 3 days and stuff.
I mean, it worked out for them, obviously.
Yeah.
It's just as popular as ever.
Then 2011, then 2012 was the first time they had 2 weekends since 2012.
Wow, it's been a while then. For some reason, I thought it was more recent. I thought it was like 2014.
2012 was the first year.
What weekend do you like going?
I personally like going weekend 1. Everybody from the Valley goes weekend 2. It's I don't know why. Like for me, I've gone to both. And weekend 1 is just so much better. Like I don't like to get spoilers, I guess. Because weekend 1, you don't know who's gonna, like what the sets are gonna be like. You don't know what the art's gonna be like. You don't know what the performance is gonna. It's all like brand new. It's the first time, you know. And then weekend 2, they always stream it on YouTube. Weekend 1, they have the streams on YouTube. So if you go on weekend 2, you kind of like prepare. It's more to enjoy the music, I guess. You get to see like, okay, I saw this one kind of sucked. I don't want to watch him, or oh maybe I should skip him and go. Like you can make a better plan. But for me, I just like to go in not knowing what everything's gonna look like and just having the best time. So either one's fun. Like either weekend you're gonna have a great time. But I prefer weekend 1.
I think weekend 2, for whatever reason that everyone in the Coachella Valley mutually agreed to go weekend 2, is because it's just tough living here, and you know what I mean. Like going weekend 1 and then seeing weekend 2 happening again, and everyone's like, "Damn, I want to go." Oh,
that's the worst. That's the worst feeling. Like, man, it just happened. Like you're still happy. And you still have a lot of good experiences, but then you're like, man, everyone's having a good time. And now you see like people's like stories and shit. Yeah, so
that's the part that I do get. But I also get what you're saying, just like spontaneous. You just go, you don't know what you're gonna expect, and
just have fun with the like a movie premiere type of thing. You just wanna go in and see whatever the festival's gonna bring. And I get there weekend 2 because it is about the music, and you should care more about the actual music. But I just like the experience on weekend 1.
There's nothing wrong with that either. I was going to ask too, are you going weekend 1? Like, do you plan on making a tips video after weekend 1 and maybe having it out before weekend 2 and hoping that like...
Yeah, so it kind of did something similar last year, but I was still kind of finding better ways to make videos. So we did a review, me and my friend Brian. We were just like in front of the camera telling people like, oh, it's really crowded in this area. It was kind of like a tips video, but it wasn't really a tips video. So this year I am going to plan on making get more footage because I don't really record at the festival. So I like to just enjoy. Like I don't even record the artists. Like I record maybe like a 30-second clip and then I'll just like have fun. I've had videos saved in there that I never go back and look. And if I want to look at that performance, you can look it up on YouTube. So it's not like I'm recording basically for nothing. It's kind of done. It's
not crucial, basically.
Yeah, so I want to get I do want to get some footage of like the structures, the art and stuff, so I can make more videos, like more footage for the people that want me to get more footage. And I do want to make like tips videos and maybe the whole week, because I usually do just a Coachella Monday, which is a Coachella video. But that week, like after weekend 1, I might try to make 3 or 4 videos to get people like if they have questions and stuff. So I'm gonna grind it out. It's gonna be fun.
There you go. I'm sure it is.
Like I said, I think I made like 30 videos already just on Coachella.
Really?
Yeah, so just tips, and most of my subscribers are for Coachella. So every time I make a Coachella video, I get a good amount of views, And then when I make a non-Coachella related video, I don't get that many views, but it's still fun. Like, I started vlogging. Since I'm doing podcasts and I'm doing Coachella videos, whenever I don't have a video, I'll do a vlog with just what I'm doing daily. Like, today, I'll record when I went to work in the morning. And then I record stuff like this, and I'll probably show like, oh, and then I just did a podcast with you, and I'll show a clip from the podcast into the vlog.
Oh, I see.
So it's just kind of combining everything that I'm doing throughout the day, because I found that better. It's easier to document than creating. So by documenting means whatever you're doing. So whenever you do your travels and stuff, like you could just be documenting everything, and people find that interesting because people are interested in other people. And creating content is hard because you have to sit down. You have to write out what you got to do.
Oh, I see.
Write out the topics, do research. Like, it's so much like in your. If people like doing that, that's fine too. But for me, it's just really hard. So documenting is just so much better because I could just record what I'm doing already. So
but and I mean, people want to see that too. You know, it's more organic and it's just like real. Not to say that it's not real if you have to like
create it,
script it, but
20, 30 years on the road, you could look back and be like, oh, I remember on this day I did this, and I remember when I did this, and I'll be on video because just a way to create more memories, I guess.
Absolutely. You can show your kids like Suki. Like, this was your dad 10 years ago.
Exactly. You were like, oh, I had a dog when I was a kid, and then or when I was a kid. I'm still
Close enough. I know, right? We're just big kids.
Yeah, we're still big kids. And I could just actually show them, you know, like that sounds pretty cool. Or like, oh, I used to have a beard. Like, what if I don't have a beard in 20 years? And I'd be like, oh, I remember when I had a beard. Let me go look at that video. So that's just another way. So maybe if you don't want to do podcasts, you do documenting your daily stuff and just have something to look back at.
I wish it wasn't, or I wish I didn't find it so nerve-wracking. And I don't know what's the part of it that I find nerve-wracking, you know? Is it
like having content out there, or what do you mean?
No, not even having content out there. Or maybe because I just don't know what to expect from people watching it. You know, you never know. But like, I feel like I'm too preoccupied about that. I shouldn't worry so much about. Are people gonna enjoy it, or you know, just do it and hope they do, and if they don't, well. That's
what I'm saying. Just start. It doesn't matter. Like, to be honest, it doesn't matter what people think. Like, as long as you're cool and happy doing it, just do it. Like,
true.
Don't care what, because there's always gonna be haters and people doubting you and people talking shit. That's just a part of the game. So just keep making content, because at the end of the day, no one's they're not making content, because making content, it's like you're saying, like there's so much that goes into it. So sometimes people think like, oh, what is he? What, I'm not gonna watch that, but it takes a lot of effort, and like the sooner you get started, the better. Just because what if you end up doing it a year from now? You're gonna wish you would have started now, or
that's true.
Stuff like that. Like even if you would have started in January, you would have been doing it for 2 months. Even now, you would have learned so much, and it's just
true.
Just to get started.
Like, let me start right now. Let me get my phone.
Yeah, just this will be your first video. I'll send you the audio. You told me once that you had a YouTube channel, but nothing you want to talk about
that thing. Rest in peace. She's never coming back. 2009, 2010. And a little bit of 2011, and I was getting a lot of views, and like 250,000 views. And not every comment was nice, and you know what I mean? And it's pretty cool. The thing that I gotten the most from it is that years later, people would find me on Instagram and they'd be like, oh my God, I used to watch your videos. And I'd be like, I'm so sorry that you had to like see me then. And they were like, no, we thought they were funny. And they weren't anything in particular. I was kind of doing what you were doing just in high school. You know, recording my dumb classmates, telling a joke, or myself doing this, or even running in PE. I remember doing that with like some of the girls, and for some reason it got attention. It was just, you know, dumb and funny, and that's when YouTube first started. And I actually got offered to be paid for it when I was 16, but I needed authorization from somebody. I couldn't, it wasn't on my own accord, I guess, because I was underage. So that was that. I didn't even notice. Hot Cheetos?
You want some hot Cheetos? And what happened? Why did you stop?
I probably lost my camera. Because if it was for a legit reason, I would remember. So more than likely, I just lost my camera. Just stopped.
You should just start another one.
He's stopping by late. What time is it? 6? Man, ours doesn't come this late.
We have ice cream man all day long here. Like, we have the little paleteros pushing the carts. We have trucks. We have like a half a truck. It's like half the size of your car, and it's like a truck that has like a bunch of like ice cream and shit. It's weird.
Does a paletero live here?
Yeah, he lives on the street.
Oh, no wonder. Okay.
But I'm telling, there's like eloteros too. The guy selling corn. I don't know. That's what I'm saying. And right here, it feels like a little community. And I do see our neighbors all the time. That's what I was saying. Like here in the United States, you don't see them. But where I live, you see the neighbor across the fence and the neighbor next door. And they're pretty friendly people. Yeah. So I kind of like the community here.
It's all dark outside. Anyway, all of a sudden.
You gotta go hiking. I don't like to go hiking at night.
I do, but when there's a full moon, not a new moon. Too dark.
Too dark. I'm scared of snakes. Oh, I think I told you that one time when you were petting a snake.
Oh yeah.
I
was like petting it.
Or no, you were like, oh, there's a snake.
It was two of them. One of them, I didn't have my contacts on, so I didn't see her until this random guy who, like, this old man, retired Indio high teacher. I forgot his name. But he, like, found me on the trail and just joined me. It was really funny, actually. So he's walking with me, and he's like, oh, careful, there's a snake. And I was like, oh, it was right there, you know? Had I kept on walking, or had he not came with me, I would have stepped on her easily. And she was watching me. It looked like she had just eaten. Her belly was, like, round. But she was still I got too close, you know? So she was like, back up. And luckily, he told me something, so I was just able to watch her go away. But the entire time, she had her neck turned back, looking at us.
Oh, that's scary.
It is kind of scary.
I would have burned the whole place down.
But she minded her business. She kept going. She just made sure that we were minding our business. And then the second time in the cove was my friend. I don't remember what we were talking about, but she stepped like it was, you know, rocky. Like you're literally going up. And where she stepped, I saw something move, and I was like, "Was that a rock?" And I look, and there's a snake, and she's just coiled. Her foot barely brushed on her, so it was enough for her to like feel the snake, I mean. Yeah. But not enough for my friend to feel like, what the hell did I just step on? Snake was chilling too. I got closer to like really see, and she was just coiled up in there.
I had a professor, well, it was for natural resources, and we went hiking, and he's like, oh, if there's a snake, just like avoid it or whatever. But he was saying that usually when people get bit, the first person catches his attention. The second person that walks by gets him mad, like, oh, you're in my territory. And then the third person is the one that gets bit.
Really?
That's what he told us, so... I don't know if that's true, but that's what he told us. So if there was a third person, then probably could have got bit. As long as you don't piss it off again, too. So you're all kicking in.
Yeah, see, but at that point, you deserve it. Yeah. But honestly, rattlesnakes, if they're warning you, it's for a reason. They're not dumb. They know that we're kind of big in comparison to them. And are they going to be able to swallow us whole? Probably not. So what they do is they warn you. Yeah, and, you know, it's up to you. Are you going to keep messing with it, or are you going to go? Yeah. So that's a good thing. You know, I don't think they're sneaky attackers. They're not just going to, you know.
You're in their territory to begin with, so it's not like they have a reason. Yeah. Okay, well, that's it for today's episode.
Thank you, Angel.
Thank you for joining me.
Thank you. This is fun.
It was a pretty good episode. You're always welcome to come back, and then you should definitely start your podcast or your YouTube channel.
YouTube channel? We didn't. None of that.
Start creating some content. But yeah, thank you for watching. I will put her Instagram in the description below. You guys can follow her. Subscribe if you haven't already. Like this video. And if you're listening on podcast, give it a 5-star rating. Leave a review.
You better. Leave my boy a good review. Or else. Thank you, Angel. Thank you.